Oh, look at that.
Welcome to the 6th episode of the Jax Wax podcast. My name is Jared Miner. I am here, as always, with Todd Isaac.
Champ's here.
Self-proclaimed champ.
Champ's here.
Well, we just got back from SEMA.
Wow. It was a whirlwind, it seemed like.
It went by pretty fast, although you're super crazy busy every single day, and sometimes you get going a lot of different directions. You look back on it and you say, man, that was a week that was a blur.
It went by fast, but like when you're in it, it seems like it's, you're doing something all the time. But after we sitting there on Friday last day, you're like, man, it's the last day.
I know.
It was, man, what a good time though. It was our first year with the booth. For people that are just now listening to this one, maybe it's our first year with the booth. We flew in on Sunday night prior to SEMA starts on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We flew in
10 o'clock Vegas time.
Yeah.
So we had one day to set up, which, looking back on it now, probably would give ourselves a little bit more time, especially as we continue to get bigger booths.
Yeah.
But we set up, and you have different options when you get to SEMA. Some people buy the structure that they have for a booth. A lot of people rent, because they may not be doing shows. We do a lot of car shows throughout the year where we set up tents and trailers and all this kind of stuff, but we don't have
It's not nearly as extravagant.
No. And so we rented.
And we didn't really know what to expect. Going there, because every year that we've been there, we always just go in like day SEMA starts or whatever. So we've never really been there to see
beforehand.
Yeah, we totally went in. We totally went in blind.
Yeah, so we went in there and our stuff was sitting at our booth, which was really cool. It's already ready for us, and then we opened it up and went.
And when we mean sitting at the booth, it was in a big, almost like a huge piece of Tupperware, like one of those big crates, but it's huge.
So you have to build. Or we had to build the structure that was going to be our booth. And we opened up the crate and said, well,
wow,
I don't know what we got ourselves into.
I know, because when you open that crate, it's just pieces. There's a whole box, like the size of a shoebox, full of screws, nuts, bolts, all these different
pieces
things.
All these different things to connect this thing together. It's like, oh, man.
So we try to start tackling, how to start. And we're like, and, had people been, now that we go, when we go back, it won't be nearly as hard because we've seen it. We kind of know what's going on.
We could put that thing up now in a matter of hours
But the first thing we pull out, we were like, okay, we need to start somewhere. We'll pull out the instructions.
Yep.
We get to step number 1, and step number 1 says locate your two Allen wrenches.
Yeah. 0 Allen wrenches in our kit.
There's 0 Allen wrenches is the first thing that it tells us to find. So we're like, oh man, this is not starting off. We have to call the lady who's over the
Nicole. Yeah. She's super cool.
She was awesome.
And with Skyline is the company that we rented.
She should have been awesome, because the first thing it told us to do
was grab tools.
Yeah, grab tools.
So thank goodness she was on site, found us some tools, and then we started. And she, when we first looked at it, I said, man, I think that it might be better served if we pay somebody to put this thing together. But, it was going to be hours later by the time they could even start it. So,
but luckily you had me there. Part-time construction worker.
Yeah.
Get ready to go there after this podcast.
Yeah.
No, but it was just us two putting it together. Yep. So she was like, if you hire somebody, it's going to take them 4 or 5 hours before they get here.
Right.
At this point, that would have been 3 or 4 o'clock, and we're like, man, what's just
shows the next day. We just do it. And now that we did it, I'm glad we did, and it wasn't that bad, really.
No. Once you get through the confusion of like what goes where and what is this, and so yeah, that was an interesting part.
Yeah. So we got it all together, and you can see some pictures on Facebook and Instagram of what our booth looked like at the end. It came out pretty good, especially for a first year.
Yeah,
where we were at.
We were lucky to be right on the aisle. Mm-hmm. So on the aisle, it's everybody's walking by. I seen some of the guys that were in the back, and I'm so glad that we didn't go with our first booth was 20 by 20, but if we would have picked it, would have had to been in the back. And I'm so glad we downsized 10 by 30. But we were right on the aisle.
Yeah, we'll talk about a lot of things we learned at SEMA, even though we've been going there for years, as a first-time exhibitor, there's a ton of stuff now that I know that we're going to be doing for next year. Right. But, we got it done, and it was kind of cool to see the behind the scenes. What you and I have never seen is what these different halls in this convention center look like prior to the first day and the first person
Nobody
opening up.
nobody would believe it.
Oh, you can't imagine the work that is done the night before SEMA.
I totally had thought that when we got there, because we were getting there kind of late, really
Yeah, a lot of people had set up the Saturday before.
Yeah,
and
even
it was Monday. That
I think you could get in on Thursday
Mm-hmm.
or something the week
depending
prior.
on the hall you're in. Yeah.
So when I kind of expected like everybody to be set up, done,
Yeah.
and us kind of
Not even
last
close.
minute, and there was not a piece of carpet down.
Other than the booth yourself. So the way it works is we rented carpet for our booth, so it's already set down. They put the padding in, they put the carpet in, and that's the only thing that is done for us when we step into the booth.
Yeah.
But all the carpet that lines the entire convention center,
Every aisle.
every single aisle, there wasn't a piece laid. By
It's-
at 10 o'clock at night,
I know that.
Monday night, they start rolling the
You're
rolling the
talking-
carpet.
For people that don't know, you're talking hundreds of thousands of square foot.
That's right.
Maybe million. I don't know.
I don't know how many it is. It's a lot.
It's a bunch.
And we start at like 10 o'clock. We're still there. We're finishing up, setting up our booth. And then these guys start rolling the carpet. And I thought, there's no way that this is what they're just now starting. And there's got to be hundreds and hundreds
And
of those people. And they
yes.
knock it out because you walk in Tuesday morning. We walked in all the different. That was kind of cool with the exhibitor pass. We hadn't had that before.
Yeah.
You can walk through all the different places when there's no one else
At night.
around, and you can kind of check out the stuff without being
Yeah.
at SEMA and all the crowds. Well, we go into the North Hall and the Central Hall, South Hall, the main halls, and I thought their carpet would have already been done. It's
No.
not
And it
at all.
still had plastic over it.
It looked
Even
like
like booths had plastic
It
over
looked like
it.
a tornado hit the
It
Central
was.
Hall.
We get to walk around. That was the cool part. We got to walk. There was hardly a lot of people had left then. There's
Mhm.
people like Chip Foose walking around,
Checking out cars.
at night,
Mhm.
because that's kind of a time where you can really walk around there and get to see a lot of the stuff. We had a guy who was filming a lot,
Yeah.
Charlie. He did an awesome job.
Yeah.
But he would try to go around at night because you can actually see more stuff. I mean, it's so packed.
Well, if you try to, as a photographer or videographer, and you're trying to take these pictures or videos during SEMA, during regular hours, there's so many people, you can't even get a picture of a car because
No.
someone's always in your way.
Somebody's always walking in front of you, especially a video.
Yeah, so you can go after the fact when the place is shut down and get everything you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't, man, that they really have their act together as far as the organization of that whole deal, because I can't even express to people how at Monday night at, let's say, 10:30 to 11 o'clock, what that place looked like compared to Tuesday morning at 9 a.m.
And I think
And it
we're
was-
talking. I think I've seen somewhere over 5,000 some vendors.
I never
I've
even
seen
saw anything.
seen
I had no
something
idea.
in the magazine. I think it was like somewhere in that range. I mean,
Wow,
you're thinking
that's a
about that many. Man, it's
It's a lot
crazy.
going on. They have a lot a lot of moving parts of that whole deal, but they pull it off.
Yeah,
So we
you have
Monday-
to be organized when it's that big.
definitely.
That was the craziest. One of the craziest parts that we didn't know. People always ask like, what was crazy about SEMA? But something different was just how that part went down.
Just seeing the behind the scenes stuff that goes on and all the stuff they go through to make that show possible is pretty impressive.
And what condition it was in at 10 o'clock Monday night compared to 9 a.m. Tuesday morning.
So then, we got in about an hour. So Tuesday's first day of the show, vendors can get in even a couple hours before, the rest of the show opens. We got in there about an hour before, and there were already people around,
Oh yeah.
walking through. The cool thing that we found out about the booth that we were in, the area of SEMA, because it's so big, they have multiple Uber pickups. And where we were at was an Uber pickup in our area. So people had to come in and they had to leave. So it
Yes.
ended up being a really good spot
It
for
was
us
a
from a
good
traffic standpoint. We saw all kinds of people. Richard Petty, I saw him walk
Richard
through.
Petty,
Lawrence Taylor,
Lawrence
Big
Taylor,
LT.
they all came through. That was, if you didn't know who they were, you wouldn't even notice. I mean,
Right.
because there's so many people.
Yeah.
And that was the cool part. So many people coming by because that's a drop off, like you said. That's a drop off, and so many people come through. That was a cool part, and just all the people in our industry that stop by the booth.
Yeah.
You know that come by just because they know we're there, and we're out for people that don't really know. So the building that we were in, there's like these big main halls, which is convention centers. We're in the Performance Pavilion. It's out back, man-made tents. But when I say tents, these are structures with
Yeah.
steel beams, and that's where we were at. It was.
I thought they were permanent structures. I was told that they're only put up for SEMA, which is crazy because if you looked at them, you'd say, man, it seems like a lot of work. Why would you not just leave that up all the time? But
Yeah.
they started tearing them down. When we left, they were starting to tear them down. The operation is insane.
Yeah.
So we got our first taste of what SEMA was like from an exhibitor standpoint Tuesday. And like you're saying, had a bunch of people that knew we were there, wanted to come check us out. And I would say in the morning it was a little slower, and then by midday you started to get a fair amount of traffic.
Definitely.
On Tuesday.
10 to 11, 12, that's when it gets so crowded. And we had 2-ounce samples that we were giving out, which was a huge thing. And we had people ask about girls. We have girls in the booth, 2 girls, but we always want it to be genuine. That's one thing that we wanted to be. We didn't just want to have, models in the booth. It was 2 girls that are friends of ours, Caitlin and McKaylee, and they handed out
samples.
They were wanting to come to get samples from them, a lot more than they would like me and you.
Yeah, like if you and I are just standing there giving samples, we probably bring back the majority of them.
Majority of the samples are coming back with us.
But to your point, McKaylee and Caitlin, what's nice about when you hire somebody, not to knock it, but when you hire somebody that's just there as an attraction, basically, they may or may not have knowledge. Generally speaking, they probably don't have any knowledge of your product.
Right.
Someone could come up. Caitlin and McKaylee are a big attraction, but they also know their stuff about Jax Wax. I mean, there was multiple times that you and I were busy, or Chad or Jose, our Vegas distributors, were busy, or Eric from Indianapolis. We had a lot of people in the booth, helping people. Well, Caitlin and McKaylee could sit there and answer questions about our products because they use them. They know everything about them.
That's totally the best part to me, just because I like that, it being more personal. It's kind of how we would want to make our brand anyways. It's more quality before you put the, not just a gimmick. So even that's not a gimmick. The girls, they come in there and they're car chicks.
For sure.
They have Mustang. Well, McKaylee's out in the desert.
Her car was at SEMA in the bin pack booth.
Right.
Or Quick Jack.
Yeah, Quick Jack. And that was so that was a cool part. And everybody's coming to get those samples.
They went quick. So so one of the things we learned. We brought 500 samples. It should have been probably 20 times that. I mean, we 500 samples were gone in a matter of an hour and a half or so, a couple hours max, and now we know. Now that and plus it's something cool for us to be able to give out. The product we gave out was Total Interior, which so many people can relate to, and that's something that has some value to somebody. Than other than giving out a brochure or something like that. Like I think people will actually use it,
and maybe they don't. They may not even remember coming by that booth, and then they get home, they see that like, oh, I'm gonna use it, and that's the whole goal.
Yeah.
So hopefully they do use it, because once they do, they're like, oh man, it is a great product,
yeah.
And it is relatable to everybody. That was a good thing about that product
for sure. So I learned there we're gonna bring a lot more next year. And what was cool also where we were at, some of the people that we do business with were in that same area. They had booths that were rocking. Rag Company's booth was killing it.
And shout out to them. They were a big help, prior to SEMA.
Yeah.
Just they had been there, and they're totally helpful.
Gave us some advice on what to do, what not to do.
Little things that made it, places to get the booth, and different things that made it helpful along the way. And while we were there, they were helpful.
Yeah, we found out that we did our first TV when we went to go set it up. I bought it on Amazon, had it shipped out there. We had the whole booth up, final things, put the TV up, and it smashed.
It's busted.
So all right, late night run to Best Buy to grab a TV.
Yeah.
Chad, our Vegas distributor, takes us over there. We grab the TV, we come back, no HDMI cable.
Right.
Well,
they
Rag Company had one, and I've dealt with Jeff at the Rag Company, for all this time, but I had not. And I talked to Levi and Anthony on the phone prior to that, but I had never met them. So it was nice to meet. They have a really cool team, and they got a lot of people that were in their booth. They had Levi, which a lot of people know about. They see him for videos. Same thing with Anthony. Dane, which does an awesome job for their podcast. Tim, which is like a behind-the-scenes guy.
Does
super
all the
smart
tech.
dude.
Man, he
reminds me
very
of myself.
helpful.
He does? That's weird. He reminds
No.
You guys don't remind me of anything.
He really does. I remember calling him. I was at Best Buy here in Columbus one day. I just called him up because I was looking for something, and he walked me right through it. It was good to finally meet those guys, because those guys are just genuine. Good dudes.
They're just regular dudes.
They're just good dudes.
And they had a kick-ass car in their booth. You could listen to their podcast, and I'm sure they're talking about the details of that car. I think it was I want to say it's like a 37 Ford. But man, if you look up close, this thing was unbelievable.
I think it qualified. They were telling me something about the top 30 for some type of an award.
There's like a Mother's Show and Shine award or something like that. And I want to say it's like 1,200 cars that are in that, and it got in.
They had
maybe
made the top 30.
Is that what it was?
Maybe it made it further
maybe
than
top
that.
10 even.
Yeah,
I know it had a ribbon on it so it did something. And the guy that had that car, Levi, was telling me the background for that car, it's pretty cool, man. That was a huge draw. They have great products, and a lot of people are coming over there to check them out anyway. But that car in the booth is bringing people in and taking a ton of pictures. It was was pretty sweet.
It was, and that's why. I mean, we already had wanted a car just with the booth, location. We didn't have room for one this year, but that's one thing that we'll definitely have.
Yeah, next year. Yeah,
space for a car, and we'll have more seniority, so we'll be able to have a better pick.
Mm-hmm.
So
better spot.
We'll be able to have the size we need to get that better spot.
And now we know the size booth we want. We'll probably get a 20 by 30 because you can put a car in there, still have plenty of room. It's one of the things we learned is having a structure that is tall, so people can see it from a distance. What the people that have never been there don't realize is there's so many booths you can kind of just get lost in the whole deal. Thank goodness we were on an aisle, but even still, like, it's nothing if we were real busy at the booth, like when those girls were passing out samples and it has this big draw and the booth's rocking. Well, there's a lot of people that just pass right by. They're not even paying attention.
And they can't even see. When you walk into that hall, and, just it's a good thing Rad Company did. They went high.
Yeah.
So when you walk into that hall, you can see that they're there just because of the height.
Yeah, it's smart.
And a lot of other companies do the same thing.
Yeah.
But that was one thing, just didn't know prior to. That'll be to go tall in the structure. That way when people walk in, you'll see it.
Yeah. Talk to the guys from MTM Hydro, which were right next to the Rad Company, which we buy our foam cannons from.
Yeah.
Real cool dudes. And so I was happy with the spot. I was happy with the booth for sure for our first year. And, Wednesday, so the next day we come in, Wednesday was our busiest day for sure.
Far.
And, we had a ton of good leads. Talked to a bunch of people that we've dealt business with for years and years. They were just out there at SEMA. Like, it was cool. I really appreciated all the people that stopped by. They didn't have to.
That's the coolest part, man, is, we sit here and we get so focused on, what we're doing every day and trying to make Jax Wax as big as possible and making good products and try to get in their hand. And then when you go there to somewhere, you finally make it to somewhere like SEMA, you think back when your dad started, that was never even a goal, really.
No.
You think you make it there, considered to be, the biggest auto show in the world, and you're there to showcase your products, and you have people that stop by the booth and they say,
wanting to take pictures,
and they say, man, I've seen your stuff, I've used it from India. That you would never. It's like a humbling experience. It's totally grateful when you get there and you see all these people. And they're like, man, want to take pictures, want to do this, that, and the other. That's the part to me that I'm like, man, that all the hard work that you put in late nights, whatever, kind of pays off. That you're there and you see these people that. How would anybody in India, know about? It's just that's super cool.
Power of the internet, power of social media. The world we live in today.
Yeah, it's awesome. That was probably the coolest part. Is all the different people. Flex Wheeler stopped by.
He stopped by.
Yep,
that was cool.
He came by and hung out. Those were probably the best parts. Is just the people that were involved, getting to meet the people, that we've dealt with, really, but just always through, phone or.
Yeah, and a lot of the leads and contacts we made were professional detailers in the industry that had also heard about our products and said, man, I'd love to try your stuff out. I'm glad to see that you're here. I've heard so much about you guys, and it gives us a chance to have a face-to-face with these people that we would otherwise never have.
Right, which is a big draw for us is professional detailers.
Sure.
Because when you get into that world, the little bit of difference in a product is what sets it apart.
Yeah.
When you get into the professional detailer who's using it day in and day out, they can tell the little difference in our wax or, our tire dressing. Just the little things, like it doesn't sling as much as something else, or it's easier to apply. You may use less. So those are big things in the professional detail world that help us. And that was cool to meet a lot of those guys that we've even been selling to for a long time. They come by the booth and like, hey, finally, good to meet you guys. They have an account with us. And that was the cool thing about SEMA. It brings a lot of people together, a lot of people that you otherwise wouldn't meet.
Yep. And it makes you, I wish we would have started it earlier. You got to build up to that for us. We had to be able to build up to do that.
Right.
Now knowing when we went into it.
It's a huge expense. People, it's a huge expense.
Yeah, for everybody, it's a big expense. I don't care what size your company is. Because the bigger the company, you take Ford. Their booth is totally ridiculous. Booths are totally ridiculous, and they're awesome. But that's a big expense for them too. Like no matter what your size. So for us, it was a big expense to be there. I now know it was worth it. You know what I mean? See, looking
totally
back,
worth it.
Yeah, it's. So we're gonna do it in the future and try to just get bigger and better and build this brand, the best way we know how to do it.
Right, and put as far as SEMA's entail, we want to have a good booth, bigger booths every year, and this year was just a start, which is going to be cool to look back on in 20 years.
That's right.
Remember the first year we went? There's going to be things we did this year that were wrong, and that we're looking back on and saying, man, I can't believe we did this.
Right.
Remember that first year we went there, didn't have any tools?
Yeah, exactly.
Or you remember that first year when I hope it goes like this. I hope it goes. You remember that first year when we had to put the booth together? Because hopefully by year 20, somebody's assembling it.
Man, I sure
Can you
hope
maybe
so, too.
work that in the budget?
I figured.
My back's still sore from carrying everybody down there that week.
And then you have the show every single day, and that's a lot of fun. And then you're always doing something in the evening. We would
bunch of cool parties.
Yeah, it's a chance for us to meet customers that we've dealt with and go to dinner with them. We went to the Vossen party.
One of the coolest.
Wednesday night.
Yep, I think that was Wednesday night.
It's like a private party type deal. They have all their wheels on display. That's really cool. At the Waldorf Astoria, they have this room rented out, and man, those dudes go all out.
It's like that whole entire. I think they said it was like an art gallery at some point.
Yeah,
it's totally made into like a Vossen booth that would be at SEMA, but they've took theirs outside of SEMA and put it at that hotel, and man, it is the cars. What a cool event to go to.
Yeah,
that was that. If they are top, they're classy people.
Yeah, and their attention to detail, the things I pay attention to and admire about a brand. I was showing you. They have all these wheels. They have these really cool displays that they have wheels set on. And even the way, this may sound silly to some people, but to me, I'm like, man, that just shows that shows the difference between them.
Right.
To me, is the way that the racks were bolted to the wall. Instead of a bolt just sticking out, it was a Vossen lug nut.
Yeah.
On every single
cool.
one, and also turned perfect to where the V.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that to me is like, see, that's a difference.
Yes.
Their attention to details off the chain.
That whole party, they had they had everything down to a drink ticket. They're not just giving out a regular ticket for a drink. They're giving out custom
Vossen,
clear Vossen drink ticket. Really cool event. And the Rag Company's event at Top Golf.
That was cool.
Unfortunately, I had to go there and show everyone up.
Yeah.
No.
God,
if anybody that doesn't know, Jared is a golf freak. He golfs a lot.
Golf.
He enjoys golf.
Well, I don't golf a lot as much,
but
as
it's
I'd
not.
like to, but
it's not on a level of people like me. I can't go golfing with Jared because he's a golfer.
You've been golfing.
That's
with
one
me.
thing I'm
you
going.
caddied for me one time.
That's me. That's where I'm at, caddying. Because there's not. I mean, that's one place I'm going to give you props is on the golf because he is a golf freak. And it was cool. It was a Top Golf. It's the first time you'd been to Top Golf
ever. Yeah. They just built one in Columbus. Weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so.
And it's 29 here, so there's not too many.
Yeah, it's crappy. But the one in Vegas is cool as hell. So the Rag Company was nice enough to invite us to that, and they had food and drinks all paid for. It was really, really cool.
Lots of cool people.
Yeah, a lot of people in our industry that we got to sit there and talk to that I've never met before. Mm-hmm. So that was really fun to be a part of. So that's kind of the other part of SEMA is you have these events outside of the show that make it
every night.
Every night there's something going on.
We went to dinner Tuesday night. I think Wednesday night. I mean Monday night. That was when we got there, or that was when we set up. Mm-hmm. So Monday night we went to dinner. I think I can't remember. Yeah. But we went out Tuesday night. We had dinner with the lady that owns
Nicole.
Nicole that did the booth. She was a big help. She's cool. Yeah. Then we went to the party for Vossen on Wednesday night. Thursday night, Rag Company. Friday night, show's over. We tear down. Yep. Till 10 o'clock.
Thursday night, we went to an underground car meet that got broken up in 7 minutes.
Man, what a...
that was a bummer.
So our guys started this underground car meet, our Vegas distributors, years ago, and it's been like this pop-up thing. Every year at SEMA, they just start sharing it all over social media, and it becomes this big meet. Yeah. And it's at
a big electronics store.
Yeah,
in the parking lot, and I don't even know if the place is closed or not. I assume they're closed.
I think it was closed.
Like they're not closed, like they're out of business, but like it's beyond business hours.
Right.
So we pull up, bunch of cool cars there,
all kinds.
Lambos, everything you can imagine, from
Ferraris,
Civics, Lambos, everything, right?
Yes.
We're there for literally it's less than 10 minutes, and here comes about 12.
They must have knew I was coming.
Yeah.
There's that Isaac boy.
They came in like SWAT team, dude. 12
Man,
of them.
They came in from every direction
and
and
got
got on the mic and was like, "Everybody, get out of here!
You're
And
not welcome."
Some of them
blah,
were being
blah.
nice, and some of them are being beyond rude.
Yeah. So that kind of broke that up, and then we went to another spot after that, and chilled for a little while. But we're going to bed early, man, because you're at that show for 8 to 10 hours, and you're never really sitting down. So
Yeah.
we were kind of lame, really. Like I mean, in years past, you and I are gambling until 3 and 4 a.m.
Yeah, and then just sleeping till whatever, going and getting breakfast buffet.
Yeah.
You owe me a couple breakfast buffets, by the way. Because we didn't
you
get
get
them
to
this
do
year.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hooked you up. And
I'm willing to wait to nothing over here.
I can tell. This year was totally different, man. 10 o'clock at night. Now,
I'm
for
ready.
us, that's like 1 a.m. But
I'm
you
ready
can only
to
say
get-
that for so long. Like when you've been out there a week, dude, you're
You're still saying it.
I'm still saying it today.
You
Trying to
wake up, it's like,
justify.
It's 11 a.m. Well, it's only whatever in Vegas.
I'm still trying to justify
Yeah.
why I'm tired.
But, man, that was the big difference. I'm ready to get to that room.
10 o'clock, we're laying her down.
Because bed, let them dogs rest. God, I was tired.
I know. And so, yeah, you're right. Friday, we wrap up, and we flew out Saturday late, and we did a little bit of gambling on Saturday. They sucked us in.
Didn't turn out well.
No.
But if it would have been every night like that, we would have been way bad off. So, whatever. That's the only night we lost, the only day we lost.
Yeah, it was all good.
It was all fun.
Yeah.
But, big shout out to all the people that helped us, man. That was one of the biggest things. I can't thank those people enough. Caitlin, McKaylee,
Yeah.
what awesome people. And Charlie.
Caitlin's boyfriend, Charlie Rude.
Man, what a big help. He taught me a lot in that week because he is a camera guy.
Well,
And he knows more about photography and cameras than I could sit and listen to him forever. I even said I'm going to fly him out, just hang out with me for a week and teach me. I mean,
he put in a lot of work, man.
He did, man. That's big thanks to him. He shot videos the whole time, and we're going to have a big video come out of everything that happened at SEMA, and he was taking pictures and all kinds of cool stuff.
Jose and
glad
Chad were
glad to have him there.
a huge help. I mean, we literally could not have done that show without those guys.
Man,
They just
trips
made it
to Best Buy.
I mean, just
trips
over
to
and
IKEA
over.
and all these places and
building
products.
shelves and doing this stuff. Like they're just really genuinely good people. I'm glad to have them be a part of this whole thing we're doing because
That's the greatest part. I always say it, and I say it over and over, and that's the best part. All the relationships we make throughout the throughout this thing, it's all because of Jax Wax and what we're doing. I come across some freaking great people, man.
That's a fact.
Chad and Jose, we couldn't have done without those guys. They're probably still trying to recover. Plus, they've got stuff that we're storing out there. I mean,
it's the whole thing, man.
yeah, those. But that was the best part. It was all the people.
Yep.
Big shout out to everybody that helped us out. We really appreciate it, and everybody that was there is going to be a part of it. You're more than welcome to be a part of it from years to come. And we even talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
How cool is it going to be? They're going to be a part of it in 10 years, Lord willing.
Yeah.
And they remember day one.
For sure.
How it started.
You got some
We get
questions?
to some questions that we got from people that sent in on Instagram. If you guys don't know, you check out Day Before, typically podcast. There's lots of questions come on Instagram, Facebook. You can post questions out there and we'll answer them throughout the show.
We record every Thursday.
We record Thursday night. Show releases
Friday.
Yeah, releases Friday morning. So we'll always put a post out there if it's something that's question, that would entail some questions. So first one, Dallas Gibson 21. I know the guy. Decent buffer. He still needs to learn a couple things. But
Maybe you can teach him.
I will for $100 an hour. What change in the detailing industry have you noticed in this year's SEMA compared to last year's? Good question.
Yeah. I would say, here's the deal, man. There's a lot of people. It's almost overwhelming. If you SEMA is all kinds of different stuff. So we concentrate on the detailing aspect of it, but there's wheels and tires and anything really automotive, paint. I mean, just it's crazy what this whole show is about. So concentrating on the detailing part, which I think is what he's asking, there's a lot of people in our industry. So there's a lot of people trying to separate themselves too and show what they've released new products and always be on the cutting edge, which we'd like to be.
Yep.
And the thing that I've seen is this industry as a whole has just become so much more professional. And when you have companies like Jax Wax and others that are providing professional grade products, not only to professionals but to the DIY guys, it's a really cool thing nowadays that this industry has gone in the direction it is, and it continues to get better and innovative
every year. And that's one thing that I've seen this year at SEMA is you see a lot of companies that were maybe there last year or have been there and they're not. You know, you see some that come and go, some that try it. Maybe it's not their thing, but the size of SEMA,
sheer volume of people.
they're going to have to, and supposedly Chad and them told us that they're building on to because they're going to have to. It's absolutely huge. Anybody that's never been, man, if you get a chance to just go, you should go check it out. Maybe it's not your thing because it is really crowded.
Yeah,
you know, during the day it's a crowded place, but it's you're talking about getting to see everything.
So I mean, the short answer to what he's asking is the innovation that is in our industry is becoming more apparent to me, that people are really, really coming out with awesome products and stuff to make these detailers' life easier. You know, everybody wants a product that makes, especially if that's your livelihood. You know, you want products that are going to make your job easier.
Maybe you'll be able to clean a car now, Dallas, with better products.
People probably don't know that we have a pretty good relationship with Dallas.
Yeah,
and our sarcasm may not. Yeah,
people are like, man, he's an asshole.
Dallas,
that's our guy, man. He
is a hell of a buffer.
He really is. That's why I always like give him. That's why I bust his
give him grief. Yeah.
Next question: Subsonic Ambition 99. This is a good question. What new products do you see in the upcoming year with the car care industry?
So one in particular that we've been working on for a while that I saw other people are also trying to go after this market.
There was people that had it at SEMA.
And that is a sprayable ceramic coating. Not the ceramic coating. Like a lot of guys are putting them in guns and spraying them. I'm talking about like a spray bottle trigger. These ceramic coatings that are easier to use, more consumer friendly. They don't last as long. Some people that's okay. You know, they don't need a 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 year coating. They 6 months to a year is okay with them, depending on what the price point is.
Yeah, year to year and a half, whatever.
So I see. I don't know if that's the direction that ceramic coatings are going to go for everyone. I know that it's been. It hasn't been a year, but it's probably been 6 months or so that we've been playing around with one. And I know, here's what it comes down to, and it's always going to be the case for us. We are not, in a lot of cases, going to be the first company to come out with a product. Or a type of product, and it's for one sole reason. Like right now, we can come out with a sprayable ceramic coating tomorrow. It's done.
It could be released tomorrow.
Absolutely. We're still testing it. Like we legitimately test this stuff.
And that's one thing that's hard to hold back from.
But it is hard.
We've been good about it, and that's just because it's how your dad started, what we always believe in. But when you're sitting here in this seat, you're thinking, man, but you have to totally reprogram your mind. It's not about being the first one out with it.
No, it's about being the best one.
Exactly. So now people can guarantee, and we've built that reputation to where they know when you come out with it, it's as best as we can make it.
That's it.
So we may not always be the first to the punch.
No. So there's going to be people that release a sprayable ceramic coating, and I think there's even a couple out there now.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple, or maybe one out at SEMA.
So it's already out there. I just know that when we release ours at the point that we do it, whether it's this year, first part of next year, whatever that may be, I don't know. I just know that it's going to be the best one.
Right.
And it's going to be the easiest to use, and it's going to be as durable as we say. I just don't like coming out and saying, hey, this particular product's going to last this long, and we haven't done any testing.
Not really know.
Like, how do you know what I'm saying? Like, so it goes back to the whole marketing thing and how people just release stuff to just get it out and be the first, and that's cool if that's your deal. It's just not ours.
Right. And a lot of people try to capitalize on that. You know, let's just get it out there, and what can we get out now, and what can we get out and hurry to get people to buy it, and that's just never been our deal, never will be. And it's really what's implanted us in where we are.
Yeah.
Because people know they can count on quality when they're dealing with this. And that's not some kind of sales pitch. That's really what we go by every day.
I'm more worried about not that instant sale that you get. I'm worried about long-term business and gaining customers for long periods of time. I'm not
how much did you sell in this month, but let's calculate up over 10 years.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
I think way longer than just one sale, 1 month, one Black Friday sale that we have to release this certain product and have to do this. It's just not our deal. Now we do have some new products that are coming out for Black Friday, but we've been testing for a long time.
We got some cool stuff coming out. One of my favorite things that's gonna be out on Black Friday, and it's gonna be the gift for everybody, is the gift box.
Yeah,
we got a gift box coming out. We will keep the suspense of what products are in it, but it's gonna be a gift box, kind of a whole deal. It's gonna be a great
something
deal.
that everybody can relate to, and it's going to be a really good gift for that car enthusiast, whether it's a car girl or car guy, and it could be for yourself, dad, mom, doesn't matter. Like it's going to be. It's not something that only a certain specific type of person's going to want.
Right.
Like, you can get it for anybody,
and it's going to be a deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Got 2 more questions. How many people were involved in your display?
Just me, one guy. It was me and Todd.
If that's
watched.
sleeping, if that's considered sleeping, yes, he was asleep over there in the booth.
I wish there was.
While I was running around.
You were doing nothing.
Well, I was running around putting up.
What'd you do?
I had a tool belt on that first night and was directing
That's old
people.
Tim the Tool Man Taylor right there.
That's
a lot of people don't even know who that is.
I was running around in big old pair of work boots.
Yep.
Jeans.
Yep.
Tool belt.
Yep.
Hard hat. Safety first.
How many people were someone more full of shit than you in my entire life?
How many people were involved in the display? Setup, tear down, travel, manning the booth, chicks for pics.
Chicks for pics.
Chicks for pics.
Hell yeah.
We kind of covered on that, and that's one thing,
Yeah, so you and I are the one that put the booth up and took it down. Jose helped us with that. Total people, you're looking at 1, 2, 4, 8-ish. Is that about right? Everybody? Yeah, it's probably
considering people working in the booth.
Yeah. Total thing. So probably like 8 people.
Tear down or setup was me and you.
Yeah.
Tear down was us.
Down and Chad.
They helped us get stuff out.
So yeah, it could definitely be more, because as we get bigger and better with this thing, as we learn more and more each year, the one thing I did notice is when you, myself, people are talking to customers, you'll get into where you don't know how long you're going to end up talking to that person. You were talking to that one guy, I believe it was from India, a potential distributor that he wants to know about. Like, that's a 20, 30, 40-minute conversation.
It's a whole deal.
Right, because you're trying to explain this whole thing. Some people, it's just a 5-minute conversation.
And there's a little bit of a language barrier.
In that case. So, that's the thing is you're not going to, you don't have like a certain time that you spend with people. It's like, I'm going to spend as much time as you want me to spend with you.
Right.
So when that's the case, some people are walking. They can't, and I get it. They can't sit there and wait for 40 minutes while you or I stop talking to somebody, and you don't want to be rude and stop talking to the person you're talking to. So
can't.
We could have more people in the booth for sure, and we'll have to, especially as we move towards the hall that we eventually want to be, and it's much busier.
Yes.
We're going to have more bodies in that booth, and people that are
Knowledgeable.
Educated about our products that can sit there and answer the questions just as you or I would.
Right. That was the good thing with the people that were there.
They're huge
knowledgeable.
Help. Huge.
And it wasn't just, chicks for pics. They are awesome in the pics.
It was cool, though, because there was a bunch of people that wanted to take pictures with them.
Yeah, because they're pretty, they're pretty popular on Instagram, this, that, and the other. That was awesome. And that was their first SEMA.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's cool. They were totally digging it. Last question. Bullfrog Auto Spa. Do you feel the detailing market is going through a shift currently? You will always have the DIY group. I'm referring more so towards the shop level. Example, pricing, better product, availability, quality, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shift, I don't know. I know that in the whatever a number of years you want to say, let's say last 2, 3, 4 years, for example, the availability of ceramic coating and how and proper paint correction, how that has generated some more revenue for these guys. Higher prices that they're willing to offer these services. That's way more prevalent. Back when I detailed, there was, $100 was a lot for a detail. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now that's not the case. And the good thing about the general public is they're starting to realize, I can't tell you how many times that I've heard of a guy said, I gave this price to this certain customer, and they said, oh, that's crazy. It's no way it could be worth that. And then they do the job. And then the customer, this consumer that doesn't understand detailing, they just think it's a car wash, for example.
Right.
Then they see the difference and they say, oh, now I get it.
That's
now
right.
I get what you're doing. So that I don't think is as much as the situation that these professional guys run into. I think that people are becoming more aware of what a real detail is. And that it does have this value to it. It's not just running your car through a car wash or even doing it yourself. There's
Right.
these guys, man, this is a trade just like anything else.
That's right.
A professional detailer, not everybody's a professional detailer. These guys go through all kinds of hours of training and detailing years and years and get masters of their craft. And you have to pay for that.
That's right. And that's one thing that, a lot of people see it as a disadvantage, but the general public's becoming more educated when it comes to products and it comes to detailing. So they're also getting more educated in, okay, I now see when somebody says $800 to $1,200 for a ceramic coating,
Or more.
I now see what is involved.
Yeah. It's just a matter.
There's hours and hours of paint correction. It's not just slapping a coating on a car.
It's not just some guy saying, yeah, I can buff your car, and he does the whole thing in an hour.
Right, and it's just hit it with a buffer. It's literally taking that paint to where there's no imperfections.
Right.
So we're talking about a whole higher level. But that's a good thing. That's one thing that I see, evolving is the customer is starting to get a little more better picture.
Yeah.
And you can get the $100 detail. You're getting a
There's such
wash.
a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're looking for the high level, that and the stuff that is maybe $1,500, then this is what you're getting at. So I see that happening more and more in the professional world.
Yeah, there's more of an opportunity for these guys to be profitable in their business, and there's nothing wrong with. We sell to a lot of professionals that do high volume, our own high volume detail shops.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing ceramic coatings; they're doing dealer cars, trade-ins, or auction cars, and they're detailing them and making it look great at a lower price, but they're making it up in volume. So there's just all different ways to do this deal. But the ceramic coating part has, and proper paint correction has increased some revenue for these guys, and I'm glad.
Yes.
I'm happy that's a thing that these guys can actually. We just had a guy in here today, Schneider Auto Works.
Mm-hmm.
He can't even keep up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's building a business like so many of these others that on word of mouth
And totally on quality of what he's putting out.
because a customer, he'll do a car and a customer tells their friends. It's exactly the same way we've done this whole deal. Is, man, did you see that car that Josh Schneider? That thing looked awesome. Now that guy's friend is getting his car done,
Right.
and then his friend, and they tell him, and now
it's-
he's totally swamped.
That's right, and it's because he didn't cut any corners.
Right.
While doing the paint correction, he will literally be laying because he'll lay
seen
down to get under that little the door piece and
Yeah.
all the little edges that he is being thrown, and that's why people are going to him. And
that's
now
why
he's in a process of job. He works a regular job, and he's doing this to where he's going to have to go full time into this.
he's at a fork in the road.
Yeah,
And I'm happy for him because he does great work, and those are the guys. That's the difference in a professional detailer, and you get what you pay for. We've had multiple episodes of kind of mentioning that about products. You get what you pay for. Well, you also get that when you're talking about these professional detailers.
Yeah.
You get what you pay for.
yes, definitely.
So, now that we're back from SEMA, we skipped a week on the podcast. We couldn't do it while we're out there. We're just simply too busy.
And we couldn't have. We looked into shipping the microphones, and you take the risk of something happening, so we had to skip that. But we've got some cool stuff coming up. Black Friday, we're going to talk about that in the upcoming episodes.
Yeah, get some more guests in here.
Yeah.
Some people that we want to do more and more of that. People probably get tired of hearing not my voice, but your voice.
They get tired of
for
seeing
sure.
and hearing you. I've been told numerous times.
Probably by family members, maybe. That would be the
They're like,
only
can you
people.
talk more and make Jared talk less?
Your mom would be the only person that would ever say that.
She is. It wouldn't matter if I was on here just horrible.
Oh, man,
She'd
she's
be like,
thinking-
that was the best that was the best podcast I've ever heard in my life.
Each one's the best podcast she's ever heard in her life.
It is. The baby.
The baby. It's the baby of the family. So, yeah, we're going to get some more guests in here, and we're going to keep doing this thing every single time. We're back on track. We're going to do our thing.
Yeah. Be sure to tune in if you guys have any suggested topics.
Yeah, if there's something that you want us to talk about,
Let us know.
we'll be there.
If you want me to talk about my jump shot in basketball and stuff like that.
I'm looking forward to the episode where you don't talk about your jump shot. But I get it, because if you're only good at one thing in life, because you're good at, shooting basketball.
Yeah.
We've yet to find another one that you're good at, okay? Sorry, Todd's mom. I won't say her name out there. I don't want her to blow up on social media.
Social media be blown out of
Should be on
proportion.
fire, that Instagram page.
Everybody shooting her DMs, don't even know how to open them. Huh?
What do you do with that?
Do what now?
So I understand that you're focusing on it. I totally get it.
Mm-hmm. If I focused on everything, it would be just an ongoing episode, nonstop of all the stuff. But we'll stop it.
To infinity. It'd be the
It's
episode.
never ending episode podcast.
You're, and I mean this wholeheartedly. Why are you laughing?
There's something funny coming because I know when you say I mean this wholeheartedly, it means you don't mean it at all.
I do mean it. You're the most exhausting person I've ever been around in my life.
And you get to be around me every day. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks for everybody listening, tuning in, mainly listen to me.
Yep.
And sorry Jared's here, but
I'll try to be not as good
can
next
you try
time.
to talk less?
I'll try to be not as good.
All right.
Later.